Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Larry B, back at you guys with an album review. Yo, I know it's been a long time since I've done a video. I know it's been like a few months, but I'm back at it. I've just gotten lazy, gotten distracted with other things, man. So I thought I would do a brief review on a CD I recently purchased. So I ordered a couple of CDs off of FYE like last week or so. I ordered Music Soul Child's first album, I Just Want to Sing, and this record right here by Bilal, Firstborn Second. Bilal, he's a singer-songwriter and I believe record producer from Philadelphia. He currently resides in New York. He he was a member of the Soulquarians collective, which was a collective of very creative musicians, singers, and MCs that included Talib Kweli, a couple of members of the Roots, Jay Dilla, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, and just to name a few. But yeah, he was a member of that collective. He made, I think, his first major appearance was on Common's "Like Water for Chocolate," and then after that, that's when the process of this album began to come into rotation. So, Firstborn Second, man, it's been described as a neo soul album because it came out during that whole height of that movement, with Erykah Badu, like I just named, and D'Angelo. But it also has elements, of course, of R&B and funk. I really enjoyed this record. Like, I remember this album when it first came out. Well, not necessarily the album, but I remember like the single "Love It," because I always thought that was a cool video where it showed him interacting with his girl, how much he loved her, and them being intimate. And then, like, at the end of the video, it showed her pregnant with his child. I thought that was real cool. I thought it was a sweet video. But I decided to go ahead and check out the rest of the album because that was years ago when I saw that video. And after that, I really never much heard from Bilal again until I think it was 2013 when he dropped his last album, A Love Surreal. And I was like, oh snap, I didn't know that dude was still making records. And then, of course, more recently, he made a major contribution to Kendrick Lamar's album, To Pimp a Butterfly. He sung on hooks, and he did background vocals on a lot of the tracks on that album. And it really just sparked my interest back into him. So I decided to go on the internet and check out the album, and I liked what I heard. It's definitely a soulful album. I wouldn't necessarily say it's strictly neo soul, but it's definitely a soulful record. That's pretty much the foundation of it. Everything from Bilal's voice is soulful, and I see why a lot of rappers, a lot of the conscious, so to speak, rappers really want to work with him because he adds that soulfulness to their music. And listening to this album, not only this record but countless other records like D'Angelo and of course Music Soul Child, a lot of those artists that came out during that whole soul revival of the late 90s and early 2000s, listening to these records, it really reminds me of what like Gil Scott-Heron and Stevie Wonder were doing back in the 70s. Even like the MCs like Talib Kweli and Pharoah Monch and Slum Village, A Tribe Called Quest. Even those artists, man, even those MCs, even what they were doing back during that period, it just reminds me of what Gil Scott-Heron was doing back in the 70s. And this record in particular, man, I can say that it's one of those records that has a timeless feel to it. I can really see myself, if it's the Lord's will, when I get older and eventually get married and have children, I can see myself like digging in the crates, pulling this out and playing it for my kids, and them asking me like, what is this? And like, hey, this is what I was listening to when I was your age growing up and whatnot. It definitely has that feel. That's why I really enjoy this type of music, man. I think soul and funk and R&B, hip hop, those type, depending on the type of hip hop, you know, it really has a timeless feel to it. You know what I'm saying? And I just get a kick out of knowing that, in the future sometime, a newer generation is gonna look back on this as like classic, and as an inspiration to inspire other up and coming artists. But getting back to this record, like I said, it's a soulful album, and it's definitely got those funky elements to it too. It does have elements of funk in it. But I really enjoyed this album since I've bought it. This album, Music Soul Child, that's really all I've been listening to. Well, not necessarily. I've been listening to my D'Angelo CDs and that nature. I just been listening to a lot of soul music lately. A lot of this what they call neo soul that I grew up on as a kid. But I do highly recommend this record. I think any fan of R&B and B and soul, I think they would really appreciate this because it really has that old school timeless feel to it. I mean, Bilal's voice, I mean, it's amazing. And look at the cover. Even the cover has like kind of have like it kind of has like a old school nostalgic feel. I mean, I could see myself maybe 10 or 20 years later looking back in this and be like, damn, this is really old school. You know what I'm saying? Look at the cover and the back cover. I mean, it's just really cool, man. So if you come across this record in your stores, music store or whatever, don't hesitate to pick it up. I mean, you won't be disappointed. But yeah, Bilal, Firstborn, second, released in 2001 on Interscope Records. Definitely check it out. And I'm gonna end it right here. And as always, love, peace, and happiness. Peace out.